Hello, my name is Sarah, and I guess I have like a rant. I call anything a rant that I talk about that I'm kind of irritated about. And this little week's topic is advice is like literally ruining everything. And it's had me irritated for a while. So advice, or like things that are thrown our way. So ideas. And this, I feel like most often, or like the plethora of it, the biggest amount of it comes from social media. And that's where it's like ideas are thrown at you, like how you need to act within your friendships, or what you should think about your parents, or what you should forgive, and what you shouldn't, and what you should do for your career, what you should be doing to make money. And it's just so much all at once, and it's like at the end of it, it leaves me wondering, like, who even am I? And also, first of all, it's like I didn't need to be told that. It's like constantly every day, all of us, if you participate in social media like that, it's like against your will, like altering who you are, like deep down inside. And I feel like it quiets the voice inside you. It quiets your soul, because you become like them and less who you are. And you get so far into this that you can't touch within yourself and find yourself anymore. That's how it feels like for me. So, to get down into it, so I think first to identify where this is happening or how this is happening to you. So, like I said, social media, obviously. So, the videos you see, it's like a comparison constantly. The lifestyle, it gives you trends. And okay, so trends can be good socially to keep up with your peers and have that connection with your peers, but not so far as like maybe like you're following every single trend where you can't differentiate what you are really liking versus what you're not. Like, I think that definitely needs to be considered. Like, okay, I'm following these trends and it feels nice to keep up with my social group, but what am I really liking inside? Or making sure that I don't abandon the things that I do really love on a social level. But yeah, trends, advice. Okay, so advice is like like what I said, given on what you should do and how you should act in certain situations. And lastly, and not even lastly, like this could be so much, but it's like making you not like who you are. Really, like making you question who you are, because it's like when you see that stuff and what they're saying is not the first thing that you would have done, or not the first thing that you would have thought. Personally, I'm like, well, maybe I am incorrect on that. But really, like, that is so, excuse me, but like, that is so fucked up. You know, who is this person to tell you any of this? Who is anybody on social media to tell you any of this? What you should be ashamed of, or how you should have handled a situation. Like, I always think, first and foremost, my heart knows what's best. And I find that when I give my heart permission to rule over me before anybody else, like the heart knows what it wants, and I feed into that, the voice of the heart becomes louder if I allow it to. And it's almost like you're unstoppable. You can't let anything touch you. And even if it is a bad decision that you are making, if it feels right in your heart at that moment, like, I think, make the decision. Don't think about, oh, the better decisions I could have made. The better decisions you could have made, okay, so if everything goes wrong, that's in the future that bad thing and the bad consequence will happen. But you follow your heart now, and you don't, this hesitancy is just, it's like ruining your sense of self and your self-identity, like your self-respect, your confidence, everything. So it happens in social media, by social media. This one, I I haven't like heard often, but like self-help books, they can be really tempting. And personally, like I used to read self-help books all the time, and honestly, they kind of got repetitive. They kind of got irritating. Um, I think it's really important. Like there should be a process when it comes to self-help books. Like ask yourself, why am I reading this? Is it a trend? Is it because I saw it on social media? Is it because somebody said that it was going to be really helpful to me? You know, I would read it and really think to yourself, do I already know the answer to all of this, really, like deep within my heart? Because that's what it was for me personally. It was like I'd read books about what kind of relationship to have with money, or what kind of relationship to have with nature, or how to de-stress and get into nature, or like how to build a relationship with God. And it's like self-help books are really good if you are genuinely lost and you are genuinely wondering. I think it's great to have that vulnerability, but I think, you know, personally, like when I was reading those books, it's like I know how to do this. And by reading these self-help books, I'm like questioning myself and making myself seem lesser than like I do really know this stuff. Like I don't know if this makes sense. It's just being able to recognize that, and it's almost like you move on from self-help books, or you should. Or and the self-help book is like, you know, how to forgive the ones that have wronged you. You know, if you are genuinely like emotionally struggling perhaps with that, like maybe that is a good self-help book for you to read so you can be happier. But if you know like within your heart that something that somebody did is unforgivable and you're never going to forgive them, maybe some people would say, oh no, that's wrong, you shouldn't be thinking like that. Currently, it's what your heart knows, you know, and you should give power to that little voice in you until you feel different. I think, you know, it's almost like this generation is so afraid of being imperfect, you know, but I find beauty in the imperfect, in the wrong decisions that people make, or you know, or in the mistakes that they make. That's all about life, and there's beauty to that, and you have to forgive yourself. You have to give more power to yourself than this stuff constantly throwing advice. And it's like I'm like talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself, like when I'm talking right now. So then as well, so advice obviously is from other people. So the situation I noticed is, number one, okay, what even kind of people are you asking advice from? Are these like questionable individuals that you're asking advice from? And number two, it's almost like, are you in a questionable situation to even be asking advice? Like who is this person? You know, really think about how do they see the world, or think like, do I look up to this person? Is this person obviously doing better in life than me? You know, it's almost like, okay, you're having relationship issues and you go ask your friend that also has a ton of relationship issues and that seemingly hates her boyfriend. Like, okay, you go ask her for advice, and it's like she hates her boyfriend, and then you start hating your boyfriend. It's almost like, so that's what I mean by asking questionable people. Like, I think you need to, maybe you can keep that friend around, but like to have better individuals to go to for advice, having like good mentors, having good people. It's very lonely, really, to have these people in your life that you really cannot be going to and asking advice from. So that's something I noticed. And then like the questionable standpoint, so your questionable situation is, do you know, I'm sorry, gosh, I keep touching the mic. Like, do you know deep within your heart what you want? Like, do you know what the answer is? Like, really think about that before you go online and search, like on Reddit or Quora. How do you Quora? Before you go ask another person. Like, you should write about it, and you should be like, what answer is it? You know, what's my answer? And you should have like more confidence to go with that, or even to get spiritual about it. Like, go to God with it. Like, especially, God is not a questionable individual to go to asking questions. Go to the Bible, pray about it. Just the whole thing of advice is just messed up, and I'm irritated with it. So next is, okay, you've gotten your advice from either of like these things that I've listed, or any of these ways that I've listed. So what exactly is it ruining? Like, what part of you and what part of your life? So, number 1, your individuality. 2, your relationships or your friendships. And 3, what I've said so much is your conscious, your decision-making skills, and your voice, your soul that speaks up for you, that speaks for you. The little spirit inside. So, to start from the top, individuality. It's almost like if everybody's taking the same advice from social media, the same trends, the same thought processes, gosh, lightning, oh my god, it's like closer. I do like the rain though. Anyway, oh my gosh. Okay, so your individuality. Everybody's taking the same trends. Everybody's taking the same advice. Like, everybody's aware of like the same philosophies now, seemingly. Like before, when like nobody knew like Sigmund Freud and like daddy issues and all this crazy stuff. Like, it's actually perplexing to me. Everybody's kind of like on the same just thinking. And I think, truly, like, if you disagree with something on social media, like, it's really hard to not be like afraid to speak up, or not be afraid to be different. But you have to, because you're losing yourself. And when you lose yourself socially, and this YouTube channel is so focused on social, like socializing, expand the way you socialize, improve the way you socialize. So this is ruining who you are. And if you cannot give another person individuality, it's like love is not possible, because you are not genuine, because you're not yourself, because you're like everybody else, because the way that you communicate to them is like an interview, or you're thinking so much with your mind and not enough with your heart, not reacting enough with your heart. You have really nothing to offer. Like, I think you need to start thinking, what can I offer of interest, of difference? And then, okay, number 2, which is what I'm so passionate about, really irritated about, is relationships and friendships. So I really want to go into relationships. So it's like on social media, it's like stuff is shoved down our throats of, I almost need to make an entire separate YouTube video on this, but it's like shoved down our throats how we need to treat our partner. Like, we should text him this many times, or we should be this clingy, or we should be jealous about this, or we shouldn't handle when he does this, or he should be doing this for you all the time. And no. You know, romantic relationships, like, if you could not get it through your thick skull, like, they're so much work. They're so imperfect. They're so unique. They're so fragile and tender and emotional. And within like a romantic relationship, I don't think anybody should be involved in that. I don't think anybody should have a say. I don't think you should be asking your friends how you should feel in reaction to, he did this to me. You know, do you forgive him? Do you know in your heart if you forgive him? Do you know what you want from him? Do you know what you will and will not tolerate? It's almost like sad, because they could be so unique. They're like, advice is ruining organic romantic chemistry, and I see it all the time. Nobody should have a say. Nobody should have an extra say in how you navigate romantic relationships. And then, as I've said so much, your own conscious and your own decision-making skills. So it's like, the more that you quiet your own voice and quiet your own heart and doubt yourself, it's like you have no more self. Your conscious is like cowering away, and so is your confidence. And you're so dependent on advice now that you can't even go to yourself for anything. You're dependent on advice. You're dependent because you see it too much. You're having a plethora of it. You're asking too much without going to yourself first and trusting that. So, how can we correct this? Because I've been talking for a while now. Simply, we need to be like inspired instead of told. So you need to have things naturally inspire you. Like, when you see a self-help book and you see an inspiring title or an inspiring theme, and you're like, oh, I'm genuinely interested in that. My heart is awed by this. You need to act on that. You shouldn't be told to read it. It shouldn't be demanded of you. You need to have more self-confidence. You need to be assertive of who you are. You need to surround yourself with just simply better people that you can look up to. Really, it's like self-confidence. Give yourself that voice. So really, a good word to like sum up this whole video is hesitancy. You're too hesitant. We all are too hesitant. You're too hesitant in individuality, what you want to do with your life, your opinions, your quirks, the way that you socialize, your bad qualities, how sassy you are, what irritates you, if you want to get pissed off and storm away, your romantic relationships, how you want to love them and how you want to cater to them and treat them, and what you want to give, how much you want to give to them, and how much you want to plead from them, what you need. Nobody should have a say in that. Romantic relationships. Nobody. It makes me so mad. Nobody's gonna have a say in how I feel, like, about my boyfriend. It's really between me, him, and our hearts. Like, our hearts are joined. It's just one heart. Me, him, and the heart. No mind. Little mind. No mind. You second guess too much. So yeah. So my last video was talking, if you watched it, my last video was talking about thinking too much in emotional situations. So in the romantic relationships, or maybe even like in your individuality, because that's what you have when you socialize with others. That's what you express and what you give to the world. You are thinking too much in an emotional situation. Emotional situations require little to no thinking. You're completely who you are. completely who you are. You express yourself to the T. And then with the decisions, you're too hesitant with what you're going to say out loud in a social situation. How you enforce your personal boundaries. What do I actually want to wear versus what's trendy? Like who are you attracted to, and who do you want to date? Not what social media says who is cute or who's attractive. Do you actually trust your partner? Do you trust your partner? Not like your friend saying that you shouldn't trust your partner. If you want to be vulnerable and loving with them, sorry if I'm so slow at it, but it's really like a thinker to think about how many times during the day, like you're making decisions 24/7. You're making decisions 24/7. Every little thing is a decision, and all of those decisions should be made from the heart, not from anybody else's heart. Just be more sure of yourself, and you believe that that's correct, because that's the relationship I have with myself. I believe that anything I do from the heart is correct because it's just what I felt to do. You just need to believe that people love you. Like they love you, and what you give is a gift. Your expression is a gift. We're all way too hesitant. We're not impulsive enough when it comes to this stuff. I would try to avoid the unwanted advice as much as possible. I try to, which is why, like getting off social media sometimes is just so great. Wow, this was another long one, but there's just so much to say, really, when it comes to this. So, and I'm also so passionate about it. Passionate about like all the things I talk about. Expand and improve the way that you socialize. Hopefully, I'm like gonna have some better hair days. It's just the heat. It's just like whatever's in the air. So thank you so much for watching, and I feel better. Like I was telling y'all, like I was sick. I feel a little better. Still the same back pain. So, but that's like better than like the dizziness and like literally not being able to move. But I'll see you guys next week. And we did it before it's like pouring down. Bye, and thank you.